Hi, it's Paul from Wicked Acorn. Welcome to Broad Heath in Altrincham. We're here awaiting the arrival of the Ship of Theseus. It's going to dock just over here on the other side of the Bridgewater Canal, just there where the old linotype engine house used to be. Nah, not really. The Ship of Theseus is a thought experiment, a bit of philosophy that applies to the linotype engine house. You must remember the Iliad and the Odyssey from school. That Theseus. He was that most famous ancient Greek hero, the son of either Aegeus or Poseidon. We're not really sure. His mother, Ethra, was a bit of a tart. He's the guy who went into the labyrinth and slayed the Minotaur.
Theseus had many adventures, and on his return from Crete to Athens, his ship was kept in the Athenian harbor as a memorial. It was maintained for centuries, long after Theseus had died. The ship had to be maintained in a seaworthy state. Every year the ship would journey to the island of Delos to honor Apollo for Theseus's successful mission. Of course, every so often they'd have to replace this rotten plank or that worn-out timber. Over time, so much of the ship had been replaced that those old Greek philosophers like Plato and Plutarch got to wondering whether or not the ship would be the same ship if it had been completely replaced, piece by piece. The concept is one of the oldest in Western philosophy, going back to the time of 500 to 400 BC.
How many grains of salt make a pile? If I take away 1 grain of salt, is it still a pile of salt? What about now? How many grains of salt can I take away before it ceases to be a pile of salt? Some philosophers will tell you you can continue to take away salt 1 grain at a time until they're all gone, and it's still a pile of salt. Always was and always will be. And that's why philosophy is not a real job. How do you get a philosopher to go away? Pay him for the pizza.
It's just a thought experiment. It's not a riddle. There's no right answer. This is, or was, the linotype engine house. They tore it down a while ago. Let's imagine they didn't. If we take away 1 brick, is it still the linotype building? What about we take away a few more? It still looks like the linotype engine house. What about we continue taking away bricks? When does it cease to be the old linotype building? Is this the linotype building? Several hundred years later, the English philosopher Thomas Hobbes took the Ship of Theseus a step further. What if somebody saved every plank that was taken out of the Ship of Theseus? When the last remaining original plank was taken out, all the bits were reassembled. Now there are 2 ships. Which ship is the Ship of Theseus? This is the Barcelona Pavilion, built in 1929 and demolished in 1930. It was rebuilt on its original site using the same kind of materials from the exact same plans in 1986. Is it the Barcelona Pavilion? Many architects and critics have deemed it a fake, but it raises the question, what defines a piece of architecture? Form? Function, context, material, time, or is it something else? This is London Bridge. It was built in the 1830s and spanned the River Thames in London. Or is it? In 1968, the bridge was purchased from the City of London by Robert P. McCulloch. It was disassembled, labeled, and transported to the United States for reassembly in Arizona. It's a fine broom you got there.
Aye. 'Tis me great-grandfather's broom.
Great-grandfather.
It's had 4 new heads and 6 new handles.
I think we can reasonably say the old engine house of the linotype works does not exist. But not for long. Maybe. You see, the contractors kept all the old bricks and terracotta bits, and they intend to put it back the way it was. Apparently, the reason they tore it down was because the ground below it was unstable to use as a building by today's standards. Good thing they weren't working on that tower in Pisa. So, this raises the question, will it still be the old linotype engine house? Maybe. It was only a few months ago I was here talking about the linotype. Thomas Edison called it the 8th wonder of the world. It was the biggest breakthrough in printing since Gutenberg. If you want to learn more about it, just click the link up here. And if you want to support us on these adventures, join our brew club and get yourself one of our bee mugs. You can even get your name put on it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.